Hello, it's wonderful to see you again. My name is Braemoira. This is my character, Braemoira. Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV. When last we left off, we had just completed beating up a bunch of small animals and a couple of megalograbs as well, I suppose, for the Marauders Guild, of which we are now level 6. Good job us. We have more than one button on our hotbar that makes sense. Now that we've done a couple of things, it is time to resume the main story quest line. We also received this nifty little eye patch. Love to see it. Alrighty, let's get ourselves back underway and actually go deal with Bateron, who, from his point of view, we literally just left to go do some errands. And always fun to think about how canon interacts with itself. I shall choose to imagine that he is well aware we have spent like 2 in-game days away from the wench. He's just not going to make reference of it out of niceness. Hello, Bateron. Ah, there you are, Braemoira. Enjoy your jaunt around the city, did you? If you mean to base yourself in Limsa, then that won't be the last time you'll visit them 3 places. And now you've got some idea of what's where, you can start exploring the rest of town. You've shown a good ear for listening, lass. Stick with old Bateron, 10 fingers, and you'll go far. Wahoo. MSQ. MSQ is a shortening for Main Story Quest. Bateron, proprietor of the Drowning Wench, wants you to lend a hand at Summerford Farms. Still in Limsa, are you, Braemoira? How'd you fancy a trip outside the city walls? I'd like you to visit an orchard by the name of Summerford Farms. Ever heard of the place? The owner, Stalewern, is an old mate of mine. He's got himself a crew of mostly reformed pirate types, if you can believe that. And as he's been trying to bring a bit of life back into the fields after the calamity ruined the soil, he's mentioned needing another hand or two, and your name sprang to mind. I gave you a glowing recommendation, so make sure you work hard and impress the old bastard. You need directions? The place ain't hard to find. Just take the Zephyr Gate out of the city and follow the road northeast. Alrighty. Zephyr Gate it shall be. More accurately, Aetherite teleporting outside of the Zephyr Gate. I know which one it is. It's the one on that walkway down there. I just don't feel like dealing with it. We teleport because teleporting is instant and walking isn't. There are a lot of fates in this area. That's lovely. Let's get on the move, though. I'll be right back with you guys once we're back over at Summerford. I correct myself. A tiny detour real quick. We're going to murder tiny little mandragoras. Or I guess literally just tiny mandragoras. They may be little mandraguys, but they are going to be mandragored by us. I can't think of any more puns to put in here. Add some yourself. You're a comedic genius, I know you are. And there's that done. Tiny little mandragoras, mandragored. Thankfully, none of them managed to mandragore us. Haha, I found another one. Excellent. Anyways, this is Summerford Farms. It's actually not that bad as far as places go. It looks quaint enough, at least. But there's something even more important than the fact that it has cute stonework. An aetherite. It is time to unlock teleportation. between realms. I'm going to spend so much money teleporting everywhere. You have no idea. But you will soon. Trust me on that. Stalewern. Wearing pink, but honestly, he's kind of rocking it. I'm here for it. Ah, you must be the adventurer Baderon promised to send along. Braemoira Alpha's daughter, wasn't it? You honored his word, so that's a good start. I'm Stalewern, the old bastard, as Baderon likely described me, and this here is my humble orchard. A good number of the lads and lasses working here once terrorized the high seas. And if you're wondering why I employ these scrags, well, they used to crew my pirate ship. But the calamity did for our ship like it did so many others, and I was sore wounded in the bargain. I had to feed myself and my crew somehow, and Admiral Merweb's initiative to get us landlocked buccaneers work in the fields seemed too fine an offer to refuse. I'm sensing some tension in the air here. Well, it turns out you can take a pirate away from the sea, but you can't take away the sea from the pirate. A lot of my blokes just never took to tending the soil, you see. And unfortunately the botanists I called in to train them have been wringing their hands in black despair. With so much work piling up, I need a tougher soul like you to step in and help where it's needed. Can do, Mr. Person, man, guy, dude, friend, pal. And with that, we have unlocked another piece of gear. Excellent. Anybody who's watching the last episode may well have noticed I equipped a different ring while we were going along with this. The Ring of Fortitude. There's a reason for that. It gives you bonus XP. We already have a bronze war axe, but I'm planning on taking up this job, the rogue, otherwise known as the ninja, once we reach a correct quest to do so. Stalewern, owner of Summerford Farms, wishes to inspect your equipment and thereby gauge your readiness for the task in hand. I've a mind to set you a task, Alpha's daughter, but before I do, I need to be sure you're properly kitted out. Pirates don't care to parley with dandies, you understand. It might well be that the ones here who have traded their cutlasses for coulters, but they're still rogues at heart. I know a solid set of gear when I see it. Come back when you think you're more suitably equipped. Equip your head, body, hands, legs, and feet with a gear of item level 5 or greater and speak with Stalewern. Now, for anybody who's here for the last episode, you may very well remember that I decided to pick up this eye patch. And there's a reason for that. We don't naturally start with anything equipped in our head area. So I grabbed the eye patch so that we would have something in the head slot which they requested. As you can see, I am playing 4D chess with this game's mechanics. Let's have a look at you, shall we? Oh, as long as you're this well covered, I won't feel any guilt throwing you to the sharks. Please don't throw us to actual sharks. Erstwhile buccaneers are an ornery lot. They rage in love for the sea and care little for the laws of a land. But they respect strength, and by the looks of you, I'd say you'll have little trouble getting their attention. Thank you. Yes, I do have a very large axe. I'm glad you noticed. And with that, we have unlocked Rampart. Rampart is not gonna be the most useful thing right this very second, but in future occasion, Rampart is going to allow us an incredibly important task for any tank in the game. damage mitigation. It flat out stops a certain percentage of every single attack's damage from hurting us. If something deals 100 damage, with Rampart active, it'll only deal 70, if memory serves me correctly. Ah, Elf's daughter, that aura of confidence tells me you've not been idle since last we met. Which, just for note, let's pretend there was like a day or 3 time skip here. I hope I've read you aright, for I have a task that requires the attention of a capable adventurer. Might that adventurer be you? Staleward, the owner of Summerford Farms, has a task for a competent adventurer. Good to hear, and I shall lay before you the sorry tale. You will have heard rumors of the abductions. Citizens have been disappearing from every corner of Limsa Lamenta, as if plucked from the face of Heidelin, boots and all, by an unseen hand. And what's this got to do with Summerford Farms, you might ask? Well, that remains to be seen. But it seems a collection of right unsavory fellows with azure tattooed faces has been creeping up on the edges of the fields and spying on my yeomen. Now, I doubt anyone would enjoy being scrutinized by such savages at the best of times, but the farmhands are convinced that they're the kidnappers of rumor, come for their hides. Needless to say, they're beside themselves with worry, and their work's suffering for it, which is the very last thing I need when my old crewmen are still getting used to their new jobs. It is a struggle to get them to leave the farmhouse of a morning. That is, as they say, where you come in. Would you be willing to investigate these tattooed thugs for me? Me? Absolutely we can. Good lass. The sooner we get to the bottom of this, the sooner this place will start to resemble a working farm again. I suggest you begin by having a look around the Sea Song Grotto. If reports are to be believed, our unwelcome visitors have occupied the place. Be careful, though, Alpha's daughter. I couldn't say for sure what manner of miscreants we're dealing with here. If they are the kidnappers, well, just be on your guard, all right? Now then, Seasong Grotto, the quest marker for it is like over there-ish, but the entrance is marked by that torch. And that took me so long to figure out. In the past, I have always run to that quest marker and then been confused when the quest wasn't there. Super fun every time. Love it. Love it to pieces. Love going to the wrong place. But that is just fine. These things are neat. Pucks. They're kind of like tiny, tiny dragons, or I imagine something closely related to a dragon. Aha! More enemies. Excellent. I'm going to beat the heck out of these things real quick. Give me just 1 sec. The heck, and or honestly kind of as well, the Dickens, beaten out of a bunch of bogies. Hold on, let's get this started. You're about to enter an instanced battle. Instanced battles only occur during certain quests and missions. Take a moment to read the information displayed in the active help window before answering the call of duty. We are not playing Call of Duty. I need to note that. We are playing Final Fantasy XIV. But let's get it going. I'll shut up for this bit. You'll see why in a sec.
I am the waves that bear. I am the winds that guide. I am the evening stars. I am the morning sky. I am born of the sea, and there shall I die. Thus reads the sailor's requiem, carved into yonder stone. Such words well describe the manner in which the citizens of Limsa Lominsa live their lives. It is both a litany against misfortune for those out on the waves, and a prayer that the souls of those who perish on land might find their way back to the sea. Ah, you are the adventurer I've seen around Summerford Farms. I thought myself on the trail of the kidnappers, but it would seem I have missed my mark. Or perhaps not. As I suspected, the etheric disturbance here is no natural occurrence. Nor is it a coincidence that the two of us should come here in search of those responsible for the disappearances, only to be attacked.
This lady is very calm for a monster the size of a
Who
bus.
stands to benefit from the keeping of this secret? Oh, such thoughts must wait. Let us attend to the task at hand, unpleasant though it be.
If you recall, in the last episode, I made reference to the fact that, on occasion, things might miss if your gear is a little bit off the mark. My gear is currently a little bit off the mark, which is okay. We'll manage. Just means it might take it a little bit longer to bring this big guy down. Right now, though, all we need to worry about is beating the heck out of the giant. What even are these things? Those creatures. I may not be able to hit the big guy reliably, but I can hit the little ones, which means I need to hit the little ones. And there we go. Big guy beat it up. Wahoo.
Phew!
Hear, feel, think.
Done and done, lady. Can do.
crystal bearer.
That's me they're talking about. Rock.
I am Hydaelyn, all made one. A light there once was that shone throughout this realm, yet it hath since grown dim. And as it hath faltered, so hath darkness risen up in its stead, presaging an end to life. For the sake of all, I beseech thee, deliver us from this fate.
Can do, lady. Rock? I assume we're talking to the rock.
The power to banish the darkness dwelleth in the crystals of light. Journey forth and lay claim to them.
Bigger rocks? Way bigger rock? Enormous rock.
By thy deeds shall the crystals reveal themselves to thee. Only believe, for the light liveth in thy heart.
Big.
Go now, my child, and shine thy light on all creation.
You know, I have no idea where we got it from, but I'm kind of
Awake
here for the
again?
fact that we're wearing
Are we?
earrings.
Aha! The poor creature's fury was kindled with cruel forethought. See this blade? I found it in the Gubu's back. I have seen knives of this kind before. They are most commonly used for the cutting of rope. It would appear our culprits are seafaring men of some persuasion, piratical being the most probable. In any event, you seem much recovered from your sudden affliction. I confess, I was rather taken aback when you collapsed at the very moment of our victory. Mayhap a surfeit of ether? I beg your pardon. A towering crystal. I'm sure I don't... Oh! Well, well. This has been a day of unexpected revelations. I must continue my investigation. In the meantime, I suggest you deliver this knife to your patron, along with a warning concerning the pirate's probable involvement in this murky business. The days ahead promise little rest, I fear. May our paths cross again, under the light of the crystal.
Well, that just happened. Isn't that interesting? Who knows who that is? Well, I know, but we'll find out soon. She was... pretentious? Pretentious, I'll go with. Sure. For right now, irrelevant. Let's get back on up towards Summerford. I'll be right back with you. And to Summerford we go. Excellent. Up there, Stalewern. You're a person we will know for a little while longer at least. That is a name. Oh my. Oh, it's a Vieira. Vieira often have odd names like that. I'm not 100% sure why. The lads were all gabbing about hearing what sounded... shoot. If you were in the middle of that commotion, I hope it yielded something of interest. I'd hate to think you'd risked your life for naught. Alpha's daughter, right glad am I to see you safely returned. The lads were all gabbing about hearing what sounded like all seven hells breaking loose near the grotto, and I feared I'd sent you to your death. If you're in the middle of that commotion, I hope it yielded something of interest. I'd hate to think you risked your life for naught. A blunt sailor's knife. How cruel it is to slip a knife that is blunt into something. A blade pulled from the back of the creature you slew in the cave, eh? I'd agree that such a knife would be a part of any seafaring man's kit. I'm starting to think that these ruffians are pirates come to lure my farmhands back to a life of plunder. Chances are they didn't take kindly to your appearance on their doorstep and set a maddened gugu on you. Aye, the pirates have been adding to their numbers of late. I best warn the lads and lasses in my employ to be on guard against their schemes. You met someone else in the grotto, a woman with a strange contraption? Ah, Ishtola. She's been in Limsa for a good while now. Her studies of the ether often bring her out to Summerford, so her presence at that grotto is hardly unusual. She's an odd-looking lass, I grant you, but she's not the kind to associate with kidnappers. You may take my word for that. Where trust should be lacking is in those yeomen of mine who have yet to wholly relinquish their pirate's past. The temptation to return to the free and easy life of a buccaneer may prove too strong to resist. You have my thanks, Alpha's daughter. If it weren't for the efforts of stalwart adventurers like yourself, the farm would be in a far worse state than it is. Just you keep on lending your talents to those in need, eh? Help bring Limsa into the brighter future she deserves. We are a tank, so we will be taking the blue ones, which give back HP. I like HP. HP is cool. My job as a tank is to have a bunch of that. Stalewern is up in arms, as his hired hands are nowhere to be found. That sea sloth Severin and his lot, never around when there's work to be done. I'd sooner hire you for the sake of getting things done, but then the rapscallions would never learn. Round them up and let them know that Stalewern would like a word, and don't take no for an answer. Jump. Oh, something I'm not supposed to talk about. Battle buddies? War group? Something like that. I don't think you're supposed to know the real name of it, or anything else about it, for that matter. Work? Can't work when my hands are full lifting this mug. You know, I'd wager my last gill you'd never guess what I'm drinking. Fine. Well, you're right about the swill part. I reckon it might be worth a day of going of doing Stilwern's chores if it'll afford me a taste of proper grog. Alcoholism is a very serious problem, but if that's what it takes for him to get himself going, then fair enough. Oop. Gate. So's I, rar's I. Hello, friend. How am I supposed to work on an empty stomach? Go on, have a guess what I had for breakfast. Bread. What? God's head, you know. It's my breath, ain't it? It probably smells just as wooden as the food tasted. But I know why you're here. I'd just as soon get some real food in me, but I ain't one to reject a summons from the captain. Oop. Not allowed to go that way. Hey. Jump. Jump. Aramhos. Axes were made for splitting skulls, not stumps. You know what I did in my sailing days? Murder? You bet your bosom I did, lass. Hey, those were the days. I reckon now I'll have to be satisfied taking my axe to the trees. Y'all murdered a bunch of people. Like a bunch. Like, wow. Aylmer, how you doing, Aylmer? So, Stilwern sent you. And what do you reckon I say to that? You have sideburns and a pencil goatee. You don't really care about this. You've got saucier seeds to sow. Damn right. Didn't get where I am by taking guff from any glorified gardeners. But I suppose I could see what he wants to get him off my back. And now back across the bridge. And here is our final person, and oh, wouldn't you know it, it's Severin himself. The man, the myth, the legend that Stilwern is grumpy at. I'm Severin. You the old man's errand girl now. Tell my dear old captain not to wet his britches. I'll be along. Oh, and just so we're clear, I don't care for landlubbers. Go find the chocobo you rode in on and ride on her. Alrighty. Let's get this quest completed and go from there. You continue to impress, lass. All but Severin are accounted for. It's no fault of yours he squirmed out. I've let that worm wriggle through my fingers more times than I can count. But rest assured, the next time I see him, I'll put him squarely in the dirt where all such worms belong. Damn. Okay, man. Alright. For right now, that is the end of this episode. Let's see where Severin's gotten off to in the next one. Thank you guys so much for watching. Y'all have yourselves a wonderful day, and I cannot wait to see you again.